Today we're diving into WWE Elite Series 116, Randy Orton and AJ Styles. Two highly anticipated figures here. Daddy is back apparently. That's the shirt that comes with this Randy Orton. And then we do have a returning AJ Styles. Not too happy with the gear on this guy. I think they could have done way differently, but I hope you guys are enjoying your day. Let's get into this review. If you want to grab these figures, you can do so over at Ringside Collectibles. Use promo code MDTOYS to save yourselves 10%. But neither of these guys is a stranger to the Elite line, right? We've got Ultimates. We've got Elites. These guys have been around quite a bit. Randy Orton, of course, been around since Elite Series 2, so he's been around since the very beginning of the line. And then we have AJ Styles here, and I'm low-key not excited for this one, but we'll dive into it. These guys have some new parts. We have a lot of stuff and everything going on here, but let's get into the Viper first. We do have our Randy Orton featuring the new torso, which looks pretty good. One of my personal favorite guys of all time, so I'm excited to see what this new torso is about, see how it compares and everything, but we do have the packaging there. Standard, Elite packaging for today, at least, but there's a shot of him there, and Survivor Series 2023, I guess, is where it came from, but got a shot of all the figures in the wave, and then we do have AJ Styles, nameplates on the side there. You have a shot of AJ on the side, sporting the beard there, looking like a grown man, and then we do have a shot of AJ on the back. I feel like the back image of his is so funny. It just is a zoomed-in shot of him wearing this really weird gear. I don't know. You can let me know, but what we're going to do is crack these guys out of the packaging, find out what they're about. I'm really excited for these, though. I'm excited to see, how they compare to their other figures, if they're going to be worth a damn, if they're going to be, something like that. So, with that being said, man, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into Elite Series 116, Randy Orton and AJ Styles, and see how they compare with the rest of our action figure collection. So here we have Randy Orton and AJ Styles out of the packaging. Enjoying what I'm seeing, man. I like a lot of the aspects of these figures, which we're, of course, going to dive deep into and discuss and break down for you guys, of course, here in the reviews. But what we're going to do is look at Randy Orton's accessories and Randy Orton, and then we'll run it back and take a closer look at AJ Styles' accessories and AJ Styles. Now, I know these are two guys that are no stranger to the Elite line. We've seen their figures countless times now. Randy Orton been around, like we said, for a very long time. But I am intrigued to find out what we have here. I think there could be some improvements, but we won't know, of course, until we dive into it. So with that being said, man, let's shut the hell up. Let's dive into it and get started with Elite 116, Randy Orton and AJ Styles. So we're getting into Randy Orton's accessories, man, and we do get the kind of standard Elite, usually. I mean, this is kind of what you can ask for. If you get a championship or an interchangeable head sculpt, which really doesn't happen, you don't really ever get interchangeable head sculpts. It happens. It's just not very common with a standard Elite in the main Elite line. We do have the Daddy's Back t-shirt, which is cool. Randy Orton shirts are always that 2008, 2011, sort of affliction shirt, if you will, but it looks pretty good. It's a Daddy's Back shirt, like the only kind of time you could wear this is, I guess, at a wrestling show or something like that. But I don't know. I guess it fits. You have Mommy with Rhea Ripley. You got Daddy with Randy Orton, which would kind of make for a sick sort of pairing on WWE television. Can you imagine those two just wrecking havoc on everybody? I think that would be amazing. Nonetheless, you do have this oversized shirt. I do think they make this too big. We'll look at it on the figure later on, but it's definitely too big. It's a big shirt. It's oversized. It needs to be, all of his shirts fit. Every single wrestler, for the most part, fills out their t-shirts. It's just the way it is, man. They're jacked. They got, the big shoulders, big arms. They fill out their shirts, but I guess it makes sense because they made this Randy Orton too skinny in the arms and shoulders, so I guess that's why it's so oversized, right? No, but seriously, this needs to be downgraded, but I still like that we included the shirt. And then we have a pair of mic-holding or weapon-wielding hands with the black peg, so that's good, I guess, so it completes the illusion if you connect it, but you do have the black hand tape. And then it is Randy Orton, so you get these signature pose hands, which you never get old. I love this inclusion. We've been getting these for years now, and they look really, really good, and I think they accomplish what they need to, so no need to go on about it, but they do have the black pegs as well. So getting into Randy Orton, man, starting out with the head sculpt. We have seen this head sculpt before. I think that it was on the Elite 90, I think it was. It's just slightly repainted. You have some, the sculpt is pretty much the same, I'm pretty sure, man. Seen this one quite a bit now. Still pretty good, though. They do have him clean shaven here, but the likeness is pretty damn good. I like the print in the eyes and everything. A very strong head sculpt, I think, for Randy Orton. Then we do have this brand new torso going on, which I think does work for a modern day Randy Orton. I actually do like this torso quite a bit, and the only thing I do not like about it is that they didn't match the arms and shoulders to this torso. This torso is for a guy that's got a bigger chest. Look how big his chest is, man. You got those big pecs like that, you're going to have bigger striated shoulders. You're going to have bigger biceps and arms, and I think Randy Orton deserves that. He is absolutely jacked, and I think that they did this figure a disservice by not including that. I think that having the bigger arms, bigger shoulders, and all that would have worked out really well, but he does have the tattoo on the ribs right there, very subtle, but it is pretty accurate for the most part. You spin it on the back, you do have the tattoos across the shoulders, which look really good. All the tattoos look nice, you know, they have the same deco, which kind of just, oh man, it makes it really difficult to switch these arms and shoulders because you're not going to get that same, You know, you're not going to get the tattoo details and the deco. So, I don't know. It's like, it would be a major headache to try and get that. But you do have the tattoos coming onto the torso, which I think is accurate as well. Looks good. Then we do have these trunks here, which are like a dark brown graphics or dark green, brownish graphics, and black that does not work very well. You can't really see any of it. We saw this similar on the Ultimate. I don't like this. If it was like a metallic paint that really popped off, it would be okay, but I don't like it. It looks very, I don't know, it just looks so drowned out, you can't even really see it. And then right here, dude, my crotch piece like chipped off, as you can see right there. That's a full, I mean, that's sharp. That could actually poke you pretty good there. So I don't know what happened there, but part of the trunks have popped off, as you can see there. On the back, it does say Orton, and it's like an army green again, so it's really tough to see. Like, crazy how dark that is. I mean, it's just insane. He's almost in, like, plain trunks. But we have the same legs we've always seen, and then on the knee pads, he does have the RKOs, which is really difficult to see as well. So, yeah, man, I don't like this gear, and I don't like that they didn't give him the big shoulders, but we do have the standard black boots and the new sculpt and everything, but it still doesn't look bad when you stand back. It looks like Randy Orton and everything. I just think, God, dude, the bigger shoulders and arms would have really set this thing off, and I think even if they retooled the legs a little larger, I think it would work with proportions, but I guess it's not that bad when you look at it. I just think if they since they switched the torso, you got to proportion everything out so it really looks uniform, but the ab crunch on this is okay. It can go back there, and then you have, yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know what is up with ab crunch nowadays. I feel like there's not really a good ab crunch in the Mattel WWE line across the board right now. The ab crunch has been really lacking, it feels like. All of this other stuff, I mean, all this is going to be the same standard stuff. Rotation, bicep, swivel, you know, you get double jointed arms, which feel good. All this feels tight, though. That's really good. Anytime you get a new torso, I'm always afraid that, you know, you're going to go to articulate the arm, you're going to go to articulate something, and it's going to be loose or something, so it's nice to see that all that is uniform and tight. Tight waist here, legs do go forward. My legs aren't stiff at all. They feel really, really good, so he can kick forward really, really good. He is not on ball joints because it is the classic Randy Orton legs, but the legs feel really good, and it may just be because they're, you know, they're pinless. Maybe they're or not pinless, they're pinned, and maybe they're working on a pinless mold, you know, to try and get that, but hopefully they will upgrade some different stuff. But he definitely needs bigger shoulders and arms, to me at least. I don't know, you guys can let me know, but he does have boot swivel. They go up and down. You get a really good ankle rocker there, which is, you know, the new standard boots, which I really like. I like the new boots a lot. Sometimes they get loose, but man, I don't know, they just, I don't know, something about it I really, really enjoy. But let's get into some Randy Orton figure comparisons here. So for your Randy Orton figure comparisons, here's the last few Randy Orton Elites that we have gotten here, and or at least, you know, the more modern ones. I think we're missing the Top Talents one that shelf warmed really bad. But from left to right, you have the Elite 90, the Ultimate Edition, the brand new Elite 116. I think this is the Elite 98, but it's got the Ultimate Edition hoodie and a head swap with the Ultimate with the, you know, the mouth open dentist head sculpt. And then we do have the new Greatest Hits here, which all these share the same head sculpt, I'm pretty sure, besides the screaming one, of course. But I think all these are the same sculpt. They're just slightly repainted or painted differently, which I love Randy Orton. I love his figures. I think this is a great torso upgrade. I really think it looks very nice, and like his height didn't, you know, change or differ in any way. It's just the shoulders and arms got to be bigger, and I'm pretty sure I've been wanting that since these figures too. I can't remember, but especially in the modern day, man, if you're going to upgrade that torso, you got to upgrade the shoulders and arms. But what the hell do I know? But it is cool to see all these up next to each other, and I can't wait to shoot these. I love Randy Orton, so shooting him and putting this figure in the arena is going to be really, really fun. But I think that about wraps up your Randy Orton Elite 116. So then we have AJ Styles accessories, and just like Randy Orton, he gets some cloth goods, and we get some interchangeable hands. Now, as much as I despise the gear and the return and everything like that, and I just noticed on the back of the packaging, AJ Styles clearly has chest hair and stomach hair. Hate to see it. But very cool entrance gear, you know, even if you don't use it for AJ, which I don't know, it's like this like quarter sleeve deal with the long trench coat with a hood built in, but it's got like a trench coat overlay. It's a very weird accessory, but it's cloth goods and you can put it on other characters. But yeah, I mean, it looks like the accessory that he came with. Nice, you know, it's kind of the same cloth we expect out of Mattel, but it fits the figure well. It does its job, I guess. No bendy wire here, which I don't expect them to do with bendy wire. Maybe in an Ultimate Edition one day they'll do a bendy wire, which would be cool. I'm not holding my breath on that, but we'll see. We do have this entrance hoodie deal, and I do like it. It's just a weird thing for AJ Styles, you know, but I'm glad. I guess if they're going to give us this weird look of AJ Styles in the black pants, at least they did give us the entrance hoodie in cloth goods, so I guess you can chalk that up as a W, but yeah, he definitely should have been in the Royal Rumble 2024 gear. And then for interchangeable hands, we do get a pair of gloved hands, which are mic holding or weapon wielding. You got the AJs on there, and I'm very glad that he didn't just paint hands black. They actually do have the sculpted gloves in there, which is very nice. Good attention to detail. and they do look like the gloves that he wore. And then he does have the P1, glove posed hands. This was a pretty popular trend back in the early 2010s, especially with football and college football especially. I don't know who started the trend. I want to say it might have been Oregon. It probably was like some other teams before that with the Pro Combat Series, but they would put the logos on the gloves, and then you could do this, and then you'd have the logo showing. So, you do this, and then you have like the completed glove logo, which is pretty cool. And it's easier to accomplish nowadays because you have butterfly joints on Ultimates, you have the double jointed arms on the Elites and stuff. So this is nice, and we've seen this glove mold for a long time now, but it's still nice to see here, and it's still going strong. So getting into AJ Styles, man, starting out with this head sculpt, I really do like this head sculpt. We saw this on a basic that we got out of that mystery box about a month ago or something like that, and the basic is what this Elite should be, man. I think that they did a really good job on that basic figure, and this is the same head sculpt from that figure. I just wish that they would have put that same figure in Elite form, because I did not want this gear in Elite form, and I was afraid that Mattel would do it, and they sure did, but we'll get into some different things here. But he shares the exact same torso as Randy Orton here, except his skin tone is slightly lighter. They did not give him the darker skin tone, which I think they should, man. I think they should. I think it fits AJ Styles better, but I do like the placement of the tattoo here, and this torso works incredibly well for AJ Styles in the modern day. I do hate that he doesn't have chest or stomach hair. We're going to have to add that in surgery. Surgery is going to have quite a bit of members. We have quite a bit to fix on surgery here, so I'm excited to do those things. No striated shoulders or arms here. He needed bigger biceps. He needed bigger shoulders. Much like the Randy Orton figure, I think that would have been nice. He does have the P1 logo on the elbow pad and stuff, and he does have the wrist gauntlets here with the Styles, which is very nice. That's such a, I don't know, man. Sculpted gloves with the sculpted wristbands is such a nice thing, man. Adding these subtle deals and not just painting it on just adds so much dimension to the figure, but man, I love this AJ Styles in certain ways, but it could have been better, man. He does have the standard belt crotch here and pants, and I'm happy to report these are not Muhammad Ali legs, so that's a nice deal. So no Muhammad Ali legs. He does have like the regular boots on there and everything like that. These legs definitely are better than the Muhammad Ali legs, thank God. Like, standing back, I think he looks really good. I just think he'd benefit from bigger shoulders and arms here. I'm really digging the new torso. I really am. But head articulation is okay. I mean, you can look down a little, but not really. But you've never really gotten a lot of head articulation from these Ultimates or Elites. Arms can go out. This is all standard. Again, it feels really tight, so that's really good. All this is double-jointed arms and wrist rotation and hinge. You got, all this stuff looks good. Ab crunch isn't the best with this figure, but yeah, man, we're missing good ab crunch from these WWE figures, man. We need better ab crunch. Other leg kicks forward pretty good as well there. Can go out to the side. I mean, fundamentally, this figure moves really well. It's not tight or anything. Double jointed knee looks really good. Ankle rocker, all that stuff, man. Not bad, not bad. But let's get into some AJ Styles figure comparisons for you real quick. So for your AJ Styles figure comparisons from left to right, you do have the Elite 104 in the red. You have my Fix-Up Return AJ Styles, which is based on the look that this Elite is in. Then you have the Ultimate Edition in white and blue. And then you do have the Greatest Hits in the green and black there with the upgraded legs and torso like the Elite 104 has. But none of them have bigger arms and shoulders, which I think he'd benefit from. And the skin tone of the Greatest Hits and the Elite 104 is what this figure should have been in. Or maybe these share the same skin tone, and then the Ultimate Edition is lighter slightly. And I know this is an Ultimate head sculpt, but this was based off like a Dean Ambrose torso or something. So these two have like the fair skin tone. I think this one has maybe the medium one. I want to say, whatever it is, this just doesn't look like it has the same skin tone as the rest of them here, but yeah, I guess I can break this back down into parts now that we have the official one from Mattel, but I'm going to have to add chest hair to this. But it's funny because we finally upgrade our AJ Styles torso with these from the super skinny Daniel Bryan one, and then they give us a brand new one. And, it is what it is, I guess. We just, we got to just chalk it up, move on, and see if we can find something better or whatever. But this one definitely should have been in the black tights, man. Hate to see it, but I still like it in a lot of ways. But I think that about wraps up our Elite Series 116 Randy Orton and AJ Styles figure review, man. Let's start things off with AJ Styles first. My final thoughts and clarification on everything, man. First of all, really do like this AJ Styles head sculpt. I liked it on the basic, of course. The big thing that I don't like about the figure is that I think it was the wrong choice of gear, I mean, this pants attire, I just don't think is going to sell very well, especially since, he's back in tights pretty much now. And I think that it's a much better selling point. I really wish they would have went with the basic version. That 2024 Royal Rumble gear, it's like the Sons of Anarchy gear, would have done much better. I don't hate this torso. I just think that if you're going to give them this torso, you got to upgrade the shoulders and arms too, because it's too wide. It's kind of like an older man kind of built torso that I think can work for a lot of different guys. But I think the striated shoulders need to be here. The bigger biceps and arms need to be here, especially for guys like Randy Orton and AJ Styles. And I also think that AJ Styles needs to go back to he needs the Randy Orton skin tone, in my opinion, not the lighter skin tone that they give him here. I think AJ Styles would benefit from a Randy Orton skin tone and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's AJ Styles in black pants. I just don't think that's going to sell very well. I think that it does represent that moment or that, particular return pretty well. It's just that I think that he needs to be bigger, and it's just not a good gear, man. And they also left off chest and stomach hair, man. The chest and stomach hair, I will die on this hill. I'm planting my flag on the hill. They gotta add stomach and chest hair to these figures, man. It really, really gives it that subtle detail that you need. This AJ Styles, you're gonna tell me that man has that long, thick beard and he didn't have any chest or stomach hair? I've already looked it up. He did have chest and stomach hair, so I don't care. They needed to add it. I'm gonna have to add it on surgery now, which will be fine, but not something I want to have to do. The figure isn't the worst I've ever seen, obviously, but striated bigger shoulders, bigger biceps and arms, chest hair to the figure, really could have set this figure off and made it a pretty much perfect representation of the moment, which is what they should always strive for. And then Randy Orton, starting out the head sculpt, like the head sculpt even if we've seen it before. Same thing on the torso. I do like this torso for Randy Orton. I think it kind of fits that modern era, but again, man, the arms and shoulders are too skinny. They're too small. The proportions are all off on the figure. Not to mention, he has had the same leg mold since Elite 2. His legs are literally 15 years old. So I think that they could give him slightly larger thighs and kind of retool his entire body, because I think that it would look a lot better for a modern quote-unquote version of Randy Orton there. So I think that would do wonders for him. I still like both figures a lot. I think that they're solid. Don't like the gear on either guy. I think the gear could have been much better. I'm much more looking forward to the gold attire, or the black and yellow attire that we got out of the Chase Randy Orton. Also, the Daddy's back shirt is pretty damn big, man. It's pretty damn big, and it sucks because you can't really do anything about switching out these Randy arms and shoulders, because when he had bigger arms, it was when they did single jointed arms. So the only thing you could really do is give him bigger shoulders and arms, and then you'd have to go out and get decals and apply all of that tattoo work, which it would look really good. It just would be a pain in the arse to try and accomplish. So there is a lot to unpack right there. I think that it has some really strong points, but it also is lacking in a lot of ways. Same thing with AJ Styles. I do like both figures. I love both guys, obviously. I like both guys a lot. I'm a huge fan of Randy Orton. Big fan of AJ Styles. Randy Orton is legitimately in my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. I am fans of these guys, and of course my plastic on my trunks is missing. I mean, that's a whole different thing. I'm going to chalk that up to QC. Hopefully all of them aren't like that, but yeah, man, I just think that there's like a couple tweaks here and there that would have lifted these figures to the next level. And while I do enjoy the figures, I think that they could be improved. But if you like what you see, you want to grab these, man, go over to Ringside Collectibles. Use promo code MDTOYS to save yourselves 10%. But that is pretty much going to wrap it up for me here, man. I appreciate all you guys so very much. I'd love to know your thoughts down below on these figures, what you think. Are you grabbing them? Are you skipping them? I think these were listed on Amazon too, so maybe that's something you want to do. But use code MDTOYS at Ringside Collectibles. I appreciate you guys so very much. Huge shout out to our Patreon members, man. I appreciate all of you so very much. You guys are unbelievable. Thank you for the support as always. But I'm getting the hell out. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.